Alright lads, I've got Aurelia in a feudal condition, ready to show to her. Let me show you her features. Ha 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 ha. Okay, anyway. Something else, David asked me how I keep my foils so flat. This has a lot to do with it. Alright, this is box number 1. These are 5 double sleeve commander decks, and they're all under a degree of compression. As you can see, there's still some wiggle room. They're not completely compressed, but they are held tight, double sleeved, and that slight compression, I'm sure, is what's keeping my foils flat. The only annoying thing about the boxes, though, is so right here, this fold is starting to disintegrate. It's starting to turn to dust, which means I'm starting to get dust into the tops of my sleeves of the decks that are here, which is annoying, but it's not annoying enough to where I'm going to replace all these boxes. I've had them for 10 years and they're still perfectly serviceable, so I get new ones. Why toss them out? Screw it. A little bit of dust, never hurt anybody. Now, a lot of dust, that can hurt you. That can fuck you up. I can tell you that right now. I've seen it happen. Anyway, so Aurelia. First off, well, let's explain what she does. Or I'll just hold up the card for 30 seconds and ramble about something else while you read what she does. What do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Alright, so she's 2 red, red, white, white for 3/4 flying, vigilance, hasty angel. And, yeah, when she attacks, if it's the first attack, I get to untap all creatures I control, and then untap and attack again. So I get 2 attacks per turn. I really need to get a Breath of Fury in this deck. Somebody reminded me about Breath of Fury. Yeah, it's a 2-colorless red enchantment. Put in a creature. When you attack, at the end of that combat, sacrifice the creature that had Breath of Fury on it, put Breath of Fury on another creature, and you get an additional combat step. And the way I built Aurelia is every time I get to untap, if I have the right combination of creatures, I get more tokens. So I can just keep hammering on somebody. Wham! 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 Like the police at a crack house. And eventually break through, especially if somebody like Erois got a victory, preventing all combat damage that would be dealt to creatures, attacking creatures I control. So yeah, I need to get a Breath of Fury. So anyway, like I was saying, I decided to take Blood Moon out. I just wanted to show it to you because I imagine it's going to be a popular card. Some people wanted to see it played in the deck. I don't think it's going to do enough. Thinking about the way my opponents are playing, thinking about their mana bases, I'm not convinced it's going to do enough. I'll take it with me. I'll put it in my so-called Commander sideboard box. So if I do need it, I'll have it. Anyway, let's take a look at her mana base first. Alright, Arid Mesa. I pulled this out of General Domain, and I gave him a Polluted Delta instead. I've got 3 Polluted Delta in a vintage deck, and the 4th one was just hanging around the box. So General Domain got the Delta, Aurelia got the Mesa. Battlefield Forge, yep. Red White Painland, Clifftop Retreat, Red White Checkland, come on Tower, Emeria, the Sky Ruin. I like this. I like the art on it. It's pretty. Okay. Kildoran Outpost, make soldier tokens. Of course I have to sacrifice planes, but it doesn't say untap planes, which is useful, which is nice. So I can tap a planes, and then sacrifice that planes to put the soldier generator down. Rugged Prairie, Red White Filterland, Sacred Foundry. Okay, some of you might have seen my Troll Worship video. I broke up Troll Worship. I couldn't quite make it fast enough. I didn't know how to make that exact idea work, so I repurposed it into 4 Swords Bant. Bant 4 Swords, however you want to call it. So once I go to my LDS, when my order's ready, and I pick up the last sideboard cards I need, I'll show you that deck. Anyway, I cut red out of it, so it no longer needed the Sacred Foundry. It really did. It really got her Sacred Foundry. Slayer's Stronghold. Red, white, tap. Target creature gets +2/+0 vigilance and haste until the end of the whole entire turn. Sunbaked Canyon. So in my modern burn deck, I'm running 3 of these. This is the 4th one. This one is supposed to be in that deck. But I started running just 3. And I'm seeing all these burn lists. My buddy, for this mini modern tournament, beer tournament, we're going to have at his chata in May, later this month. He should build Jund. He's going to build Jund as his primary deck. He's building Burn as a backup deck, but he's got everything he needs for Jund, and that's going to be just brutal. And helping him decide on the best build for his backup Burn deck, everybody's playing 4 of these. All of them. So maybe I should do it too. Terrain Generator. 2 tap. Put a basic land from your hand into play tapped. Otherwise, you can get a colorless mana. Hall of Helios Generosity. Put target enchantment card from graveyard on top of your library for the low price of 1 colorless, white, and tap. Nikto Shrine to Nyx. This came out of Phoenix, so I broke up Phoenix. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with him. Didn't really know what direction to take him. So he's becoming Nekazar. And that's coming along splendidly. It looks really interesting. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And probably next week I'll have that ready to show you. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 mountain. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 plains. Got the mountain and the plains, and that's the mana base. Alright, let's take a look at the other shit. Angel's Trumpet. I really wish it destroyed the creatures if they didn't attack. That'd be funnier for me. Anyway, Angel's Trumpet. All creatures get vigilance. At the end of everybody's turn, any creatures that could have attacked, that did not attack, become tapped and deal 1 point of damage to their controller. So I'm trying to encourage everybody to attack. I want to attack. I want attacking with abandon and recklessness not seen in years. Arcane Signet. What's funny is I thought this was the expensive one. But there's another version with the silvery frame, the new modern frame with that art. And apparently that one's kind of expensive. I don't know why. Boral Signet. Soul Ring. Sword of the Animist. Aurelia needs lands. I don't know how many people remember my introduction to Aurelia, but she's got an interesting combo that I'm looking forward to seeing if I can pull it off. Sword of Feast and Famine. Protection from black and green. Never equipped creature slaps one of your opponents. They discard a card and you get to untap all your lands. Sword of Fire and Ice. Protection from blue and red. Whenever the equipped creature punches one of your opponents in the face, you draw a card and something takes 2 points of damage. Sword of Light and Shadow. Equipped creature gets protection from black and white. Whenever equipped creature kicks your opponent in the jimmy, you gain 3 life and can raise dead. Basri Ket. Oh, this guy's cool. So, the reason he's still in here is whenever one or more non-token creatures attack, the neg2, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Okay, so I attack. Well, I trigger him during my first main phase. Neg2, I attack. Okay. Aurelia says, I want to untap attack again. I want blood. And Basri Ket says, you know my ability is still active, right? And she says, yes, I know that. So when she attacks for her second time, he still has this ability active. And so I get that many more 1/1 white soldier creature tokens tapped and attacking for all of my non-token creatures. So that's pretty cool. I like it. Elspeth Sun's Champion, one of the highest casting cost cards in the deck. I think I only have... No, I've got Gisela in here. Gisela is 7, so it's one of the highest. I think I've got 2 at 6. No, 3 at 6. I've got 3 at 6, 1 at 7. I'm pretty sure. I'll find out. Anyway, I could be wrong. So, +1, put 3 1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. -3, destroy a creature's power 4 or greater. -7, doesn't really matter because she will not get there. Somebody will kill her. Zariel, Archduke of Everness. Not really sold on this card. I bought it because it was cheap, and I thought the art was pretty cool. It's a foil. Creatures you control get +1/+0 in haste until end of turn. That's really why she is in here, as a haste enabler. A way of giving all my creatures haste without an extra investment of mana relatively early, because she comes down on turn 4. So she comes down on turn 4 or 5. Probably not going to be any creatures coming down with her because she would cost everything I have. But subsequent turns, I can just +1 her, keep +1ing her, and give all the creatures haste that come in after her. Create a 1/1 red devil creature token. That's kind of interesting. It deals 1 damage to any target when it dies. I need some way to up that damage. If only I could figure out how. Adeline, Resplendent Cathar. 3 for a star 4 vigilant human knight. So her power is equal to the number of creatures I control whenever she attacks. For every opponent, I get a white human creature token that's tapped and attacking. So, in a 4-man game, when she attacks, she's automatically a 4/4 because she will be a creature, and then I will get 3 tokens attacking my 3 opponents, so she'll be a 4/4. And anything after that is just extra. So one of the ideas of the deck is I wanted as many token generators on attack, token generator that have some kind of value as possible, ideally doing double duty. So I didn't want just, okay, tap this, like Care Keep. I didn't want just Care Keep and Aurelia, because I'm not planning to, I want something I can attack with, something that's viable as an attacker, that's a threat in mass. Kobolds, without some kind of pump, are really not a threat in mass or at all. Aurelia, the law above, another aspect of Aurelia. So 5 instead of 6, they brought 1 red, 1 white, and added a colorless. So she goes down to, well, she goes up to 4/4. So the original Aurelia, the War Leader, was 3/4. She's 4/4, still the Flying Vigilance Haste. And she's part of my light draw package. So whenever a player attacks 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. That includes my opponents. If they attack with 3 or more creatures on their turn, I get to draw a card. Nice. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, she does 3 damage to each of my opponents and I gain 3 life. So that's going to make their attacks more interesting. See, there's some of that dust in there that I was talking about. So 3 damage isn't a whole lot, but if it starts coming down, or I get my damage multiplier, I have 2 damage multipliers in here, and if I have one of those in play and they want to attack 5 creatures, and you know you're going to take either 6 damage or 9 damage, depending on which multiplier I have, or both. You're going to take 18 damage because I have both multipliers. They're going to say, maybe I will only attack with 4 creatures. Brimaz, King of Oreos. Brimaz is a 3-mana, 3/4 vigilant kitty cat soldier. He should be a kitty cat soldier noble. But anyway, there's probably just not enough room there. So, whenever he attacks, I get a 1/1 white kitty cat with vigilance that is also attacking with his king. And whenever he blocks, the same thing. I get a 1/1 white kitty cat soldier with vigilance that is blocking with his king. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. Top of the mana curve for the deck. And she almost didn't make it because I didn't want anything that high, but I said, nah, screw it. So 4, red, white, white. 5/5 flying, first strike, angel. So she doubles damage my stuff deals, and she cuts in half the damage me and my stuff take. That's pretty damn cool. And that's why she costs 7. So maybe I'll be able to get her in play and enjoy the benefits of doubling my damage and having what I take. Alright, Goro Goro here. Goro Goro Dicket of Ryusei. He's really supposed to be Dockside Extortionist. But Dockside Extortionist is still 70 euros. And I'm working on multiple decks right now, so anything over 20 euros, I think, do I really need this? Do I have anything kind of close? Is there anything cheap that fits maybe not exactly the same position, but fills the same CMC slot, does something the deck wants, anything like that? And with Goro Goro, that was the case. So Dockside Extortionist, of course, costs the same, 1 in a red, comes into play, does some magical shit. You get treasure tokens for every artifact and enchantment your opponents control, which would help me get out Gisela, but he's 70 euros. This guy, how much was he? 1 euro? He was cheap. He was cheap as hell. So he comes down on turn 2, and if I've got any kind of mana rock, say I got lucky and did Soul Ring turn 1, so let's say he comes down turn 3. Turn 3 he comes down. For 3, he's a 2/2 with haste, essentially. And then he's got this 3 red, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. So somebody that's equipped, somebody that's enchanted, somebody with a counter. If I'm attacking with any of those, if I have 5 laying around that I'm not doing anything with, or planning to do something with, I get a dragon creature token. That's kind of cool. So he's in here instead of Dockside. I hope he works. Eroas, God of Victory. 2 red white for a 7/4 indestructible. All your creatures have menace, and they will take no damage when they attack. So that includes spells. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. So if somebody has, I don't know, some instant damage, Aurelia's Fury, for example. Once my creatures are attacking, they don't take any damage. And they're menacing. So that's pretty cool. Alright, here we go with the token suite. I've got the Krinkos. Krinko the Kingpin, Krinko the Mob Boss. 1 costs 4, 1 costs 3. 1 is a Goblin Warrior, and 1 is just a Goblin. He's not a warrior, he's nothing, he's just there. Okay, so maybe he was a Kingpin, and then he became a Mob Boss. That's probably the way it went. And then when he became a Mob Boss, he became a warrior. Anyway, so tap Krinko, put double the number of goblins you control. So for every goblin you have, token or otherwise, doesn't matter, you get a 1/1 goblin token for all of them. Double your goblins. Krinko, 10 Street Kingpin. So when he attacks, he gets a +1/+1 encounter, and then you get a number of 1/1 red goblin tokens equal to his power. So if I give him a sword, and he's a 3/4, when he attacks, he'll be a 4/5, and I'll get 4 goblins. And if I've got the boss out there, I can tap, and I would get 7 goblins. 5 off of the tokens, 1 off of the Kingpin, and 1 off of the Mob Boss. That's kind of the idea of the deck, is to have these token generators, these creatures that I don't care if they get killed, I just want to attack and smash face and punch them through. That's the idea of Aurelia. Yeah, there's more of that dust. Damn it. Pashalik Mons. Not really sure. I thought he's kind of cool. And I remember Mons Goblin Raiders from Revised. So he's a throwback to that. So 3 for a 2/2 Legendary Goblin Warrior. Whenever he or another goblin I control dies, deals 1 damage to any target. So if I get a bunch of goblin tokens, and I've got goblin bombardment out, and I start chucking goblins at people, that's 2 damage per goblin, not just 1. 1 off the bombardment, 1 off Pashalik Mons. And I can sack a goblin to double them. Kind of interesting. I like how it's not a sorcery. I like how that you just spend the mana whenever you want. So end of my opponent's turn who's preceding me, hey, I've got 4 mana open. I'm going to sack this goblin and create 2 more. Keep them pumping. And if I've got Perforos, he's going to pump my opponents full of fire. So Perforos here, 4 for a 6/5 god, indestructible. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, he deals 2 damage to each opponent. So if I have 5 goblins, play Perforos, and I tap Krenko the mob boss, I get 5 more goblins. Each of my opponents takes 10 damage. And that's if I don't have Gisela or the other damage enabler out. This could get dirty. Ha ha ha! Squee, Dubious Monarch, 3 for a 2/2. Yeah, it can almost be a goblin deck, but almost only counts nukes and hand grenades, yo. So 3 for a 2/2 Goblin Noble. See, he's a noble. Kind of. It's Squee. I never thought of Squee as very, very noble, but somebody decided he was. So he's hasty. Whenever he attacks, I get a Goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. I can cast from graveyard by doing some bullshit I'm not going to do. Just ignore this part. This paying for and exiling for the cards. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not the way I play. I'll get him back another way. Urbrask, the Hidden. 5 for a 4 for a Predator. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponents control and come into play tapped. Simple, elegant, pretty. Balefire Liege. So 2, shuffle this up a bit. 2 triple red, triple white hybrid. Other red creatures control get +1/+1. Other white creatures control. Your red and white creatures get +2/+2. So Aurelia, if Balefire Liege is in play, is a 5/6 that can attack twice with flying and vigilance and fury. So whenever I play a red spell, I get to lightning bolt somebody. Lightning bolt somebody. I have to remember. I have to keep. I will forget, and I'll try to lightning bolt a creature. I'm sure, especially once I've had more than 1 beer. But he only lightning bolts players when I play a red spell. Whenever I play a white spell, I gain 3 life. So if I play a red-white spell, if he's in play, I essentially have a lightning helix that can hit one of my opponents. Cavalier of Flames. I keep thinking about taking this guy out. I keep thinking maybe he's not worth a slot. So 2 triple red for a 6/5 knight. He's here because he can give my creatures haste, even though it's more expensive than I want it to be. Although when he comes down turn 5, 6, 7, yeah, I'm probably not going to be too arsed about having to spend 2 to give them haste. When he comes to play, I can throw away any number of cards I don't want and then draw that many cards, so some filtering. And when he dies, deals X damage to each opponent, each Planeswalker they control. Rex is the number of lands in my graveyard. And if the deck works the way I think it will, when he dies, there should be a few. He should deal some serious damage. Firemane Avenger. 3 red-white, 3/3 flyer. Whenever she and at least 2 other creatures attack, I get to lightning helix something. So Balefire Liege will only hit a player. She'll hit anybody. She doesn't care. She's just furious. She's on the battlefield. She's on the front lines. If there's a creature that she wants to blast, she'll blast it. Get to Slinger. Okay, this is a really odd inclusion, I must admit. He has no synergy with the goblins. He only comes into play, does 2 damage, and then that's it. He puffs out of existence next turn because he's got Echo. Excuse me. He's here because the first time I took Aurelia out, this rebuild, before we refined it further, my buddy played his commander who was 2 toughness and really needed to kill it. In fact, I lost the game because I couldn't kill his damn commander. So I thought, okay, maybe I should put something in here that can just do a little bit of direct damage and is kind of repetitive because I have ways of getting it back. Sort of Light and Shadow, I can get him back, raise dead. So he would come into play, he would kill that commander, and I would win the day. So that's why Get To Slinger is in here. Yeah, I agree he doesn't really fit. Okay, so I paused it for just a moment because I wanted to grab this. This is kind of a, I don't know, special mention, special guest, something. I don't have this in the deck right now. I would like to put in the deck, but I'm not really sure what I should take out. So I am fully open to suggestions on what I should take out, if anything, for Embercleave. If any of you think Embercleave belongs in the deck. And it kind of feels like it does. It's flashy. Costs less for every attacking creature, and I want to attack the creatures in this deck. It attaches automatically, and it gives a creature +1/+1 double strike and trample, which is pretty damn good last time I checked. Anyway, so there's that. Let me know what you think. Let's keep going. So, Goblin Rabble Master. Rabble. Remember that from South Park when they had have the mob, and in the background the mob would just be doing rabble. So, Goblin Rabble Master. 2 red for 2/2 Goblin Warrior. Other Goblin creature control attack each turn of Fable. I don't really like that, but I'm going with it anyway. And I've got a way around it that you'll see. So at the beginning of combat of my turn, I get a 1/1 red Goblin creature token with haste. Whenever he attacks, he gets +1/+0 for each other attacking Goblin. So he can be pretty damn big. He's kind of like the... I can't remember the name of the Goblin. Again, he costs 3. 2 colors, 1 red. He's got protection from blue. And he gets +1/+0 for... It's either every Goblin you control or every attacking Goblin. Originally from Onslaught. And I can picture the art in my mind. He's Pile Driver. Goblin Pile Driver. That's it. He's like Goblin... Maybe I should get a Pile Driver. Oh, I kind of miss that guy. Used to have him in my Goblin. Yeah, maybe I should get a Pile Driver. That would be funny. Hell Rider. Alright, one of my loyal viewers said I should get a Hell Rider in the deck, and I think he's right. So 2 colors, red for 3/3 Hastening Devil. Whenever a creature you control attacks, he deals 1 damage to defending player. So, not a whole lot of damage, but of course it all adds up over time. Hello.
I have to start the cheat at 1.
What time is it now?
1:02.
Okay, so I've got a few minutes. Hero of Bladehold. 2 white for a 3/4 battle crying human knight. And whenever she attacks, she brings 2 soldier creature tokens into play, tapped and attacking with her. So again, goes to the theme of when my creatures attack. Well, when some of my creatures attack, they bring buddies, they bring reinforcements, they bring the pain. Inferno Titan. Fire breathing. When he comes into play or attacks, deals 3 damage divided any way I feel like to 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. Cover Guide. 3 white 2/2 flying protection for black angel spirit with echo. Yeah, but I've got the Sword of Light and Shadow, so I can get her back. You know? She comes into play. Return target Get To Slinger from your graveyard to the battlefield. Or you can replace Get To Slinger with any other card name that is a creature. Knight Captain of Eos. So he comes into play. 4 white, 2/2 human knight with 2/2 white soldier creature tokens. She also makes soldier creature tokens. I think Brimaz does too, cat soldier. But if I'm in a bind and somebody's attacking me with something big and nasty I can't handle, well, I can sacrifice a soldier and fog. So he comes to play with 2 soldiers. Hero of Bladehold, whenever she attacks, she makes soldiers. I've got some other Elspeth makes soldiers. So he's a good bulwark against the forces of evil my opponents might send at me. Legion Loyalist, 1 red for a hasty 1/1 battalionized goblin. Never heat at least 2 of the creature's attack. My creatures gain first strike, trample, can't be blocked by creature tokens. Not really sure how relevant that's going to be. I'm sure it will be more relevant more often than I think right now. But the first strike and trample, yeah, that's always good. So he'll be a 1/1 first strike trampler. Okay, he doing it isn't so impressive unless he gets Embercleave. Anyway, Legion Warboss, 3 for 2/2 mentoring Goblin Soldier. Okay, he's a soldier. I can sacrifice him. Beginning of combat on my turn, I get a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. It's hasty, and it attacks if able. But I want to attack, so. Lean and War Leader. 2 white for 4/4 cat soldier. So he's a soldier, but when he attacks, the 2 life-linking kitty cats he makes are not soldiers. They're just 1/1 kitty cats. So he's a soldier leading a couple partisans, I guess. He's got a couple insurgents. Noblesse of War. Look at that mana cost. Look at it. 5. At least it's hybrid. Flying. Attack creatures go at +2/+0. So when he attacks, he's a 5/4. And David, this is kind of the extent of the bends of my foil. So this one is slightly curved. Not sure how well you can see it. Let's put it next to this one. See, this one, this is pretty flat. And this is gently curved. But anyway, the way I store my cards, it takes it all out. And as you can see, that's only one of the many foils I have that has any noticeable curve. I just thought he's cute and funny. He's not on theme. He doesn't do anything extra for the deck. He just comes down early and beats people up. And it's just, personally, it amuses me to have a rabbit unicorn beating people up. And he can get big fast. So let's say I have 5 goblins. He'll be a 6/6 for 2. I know that 6/6 for 2 doesn't mean shit anymore because of stupid power creep. Thank you, wizards. I wonder what the game is going to be like in 5 years if this shit continues. And there's my phone. Alright, I'm glad I learned how to splice these videos together. That was somebody that wanted directions to the rum and cigar shop. Yes, I know where a rum and cigar shop is. I live in Prague. You kind of need to know. So anyway, I just think he's funny and he can get big really fast. And I was complaining about the power creep. Wonder what the game's going to be like in 5 years if a potential 6/6 for 2 is crap. I mean, well, Tarmogoyf is crap. They're trying to push it back to Modern Horizons 3. Don't know how it's going to go over. But maybe they're trying to retrace a bit. We'll see. Siege Gang Commander. There's a new card in MH3 called Siege Gang Lieutenant. And I want one for this deck. So Siege Gang Commander is 3 red for 2/2. When he comes into play, he gets 3 buddies. He can sacrifice a goblin. Doesn't have to be his specific buddies. Any goblin. Does 2 damage to any target. Siege Gang Lieutenant, if you control your commander, I believe it's during your upkeep, you get a 1/1 goblin that you can sacrifice for 1 damage. And he costs 3 and 1 red, so 4 instead of 5. I think that's it. Anyway, he'd make a nice addition to this deck. Sun Titan. One of my favorite cards. 6 for a 6/6 Vigilant Giant. Comes into play. Bring back Get to Slinger, or when he attacks, bring back Get to Slinger. Or Aura of Silence. Or Silence. 3. Artifact enchantment spells your opponent's. This target opponent, it's now been rented to all. So all my opponents have to pay an additional 2 for every artifact enchantment they attempt to cast. And I can sack it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. And then, of course, because it's 3 CMC, Sun Titan can snatch it back. There's my damage tripler. Super damage enabler. Yeah, fire emancipation. Really gonna set your asses on fire. Anyway, 3 triple red. Source you control deal damage to a permanent player deals triple that damage instead. So if I have Gasella and this, I'll stack it so it deals. Is it better to deal double and then triple? Probably double than triple. Rather than do triple than double. I'll have to figure it out. Goblin Bombardment. Attack creature does 1 damage to any target. If Fire Emancipation is in play, do 3 damage to any target. Okay, let me just skip down here so I can show you this. Here's kind of the meat of the deck. Here's the key combo with junk cards, old junk cards that see no play anywhere else. Goblin Trenches, 1 red-white for an enchantment. 2, sack a land. Put 2 1/1 red and white goblin creature soldier tokens to play. So if Balefire Liege is in play, there'll be 3 3s. I'll get 2 3/3s out of it. And then Planar Birth, put all basic lands from all graveyards into play of their owner's control tapped. So if I'm sacking mainly basics, then Goblin Trenches, 2 Goblin Trenches, I can get them back at Planar Birth, plus Cavalier of Flame if he dies, and I've been doing this for a little while, or in response. In response to Cavalier of Flame's dying, say I sack 4 lands, I get 8 1/1s minimum, assuming of course I have the mana to sacrifice 4 lands. Get the goblins, attack with them, beat with them, throw them at people with bombardment, and then get the lands back with Planar Birth. That's kind of the core, one of the core ideas of the deck. Curious to see how it works. Then I also have Chiron Negotiations. So, Angel's Trumpet. If I have creatures I don't want to send into combat for whatever reason, I can tap them to do 1 point of damage to target player. Then they can't attack because they're tapped. Or at the end of my turn, any tokens I generated, or more specifically, at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding me, any untapped creatures I have, I can tap them to deal damage to my opponents. So, another card. I've had this in decks before, and it either didn't come up, or it was played and destroyed immediately because my opponents did not think it was a good idea for me to have it. Land tax. During my upkeep, if an opponent controls more land than I do, I can go find up to 3 basics and put them in my hand and shuffle. With Goblin Trenches, I should always be behind my opponents in land count, at least one of them, and I should always be able to land tax during my turn. Mark of Asylum, prevent all non-combat damage dealt to creatures you control. This is for Cube. This is for his Tribal 1 damage deck. Yeah, so you're going to play Grayson Killer, deal 1 point of damage to everything, which Grayson Killer makes 3 damage. Alright, screw you. I'm going to play Mark of Asylum. Try to get rid of it in a red-blue deck. Reconnaissance. So Reconnaissance. If I attack and it looks like the attack is going to be unfavorable, if they're going to be blocked by something I don't want them being blocked by, I can pull them out of combat. Or, if all my goblins have to, if for some reason I have to attack with something that I don't want to really attack with, I can pull them out of combat, and let's say it's Krinko. I can attack with him because of the way the triggers stack, the way the abilities stack. So, most of my goblins, they generate tokens when they attack, like Goblin Mentor. So, attack with him, create a goblin. At that point, in my attack step, if I have Rabble Master, then Krinko has to attack because he's a goblin. But if I pull him out of combat with Reconnaissance, then I can tap him, and he will see all the goblins that were generated after the attack started. So, pretty useful, I think. Soul Snare, it's a Swords Plowshares that I pay 1 to have it sit there, then I can pay 1 to Swords Plowshare something that's attacking me or one of my Planeswalkers. War Leader's Call. All my creatures get +1/+1, and Perforos gets an additional effect. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under my control, it deals 1 damage. Not 2 damage to each opponent, but 1. And because it's damage and not loss of life, my damage multiplying effects will take effect. Aurelia's Fury. Yeah. Instant burn. So divided, X damage divided however I feel like, among any number of target creatures or players. Each creature I hit is tapped, so I can do this on my opponent's turn before they attack, so I can decide they're not going to attack with certain things. And players dealt damage by Aurelia's Fury cannot cast non-creature spells the turn they were hit by them. Beacon of Destruction, I keep putting this in decks. I keep not using it because it keeps not coming up. I'm going to keep it in here now because I keep trying it, keep wanting it, keep looking forward to it, and setting somebody's ash on fire for 5. Although if I have Fire Emancipation, that's 15. That's the other reason why I'm leaving it in here, for the potential of, for 5, dealing 15 points of damage to a creature player. That'll be funny. That'll be beautiful. Lane Tutor. Search your library for an artifact or enchantment card, show it off, shuffle, and put it back on top of your library. Fate Forgotten. I forget what it does. Intimidation Bolt. Intimidation Bolt deals 3 damage to our creature. Other creatures can't attack this turn. You can hit your own creatures with this. Keep that in mind. So if your opponents have creatures with Shroud, Hexproof, whatever, you can't target them, but you don't want to be attacked. And you've got a big creature, you've got a creature you don't care about. Well, bolt your own creature, and other creatures still cannot attack that turn. Not the most linear use of it, but it is a potential line of play to keep in mind. Last ditch effort. Alright, so that stupid farewell card. Somebody casts farewell. Okay, fine. I'm not exiling shit. I'm going to sacrifice all my creatures, and I'm just going to punch you in the head for whatever number of creatures I have, rather than exile them. That's really why this is in here. To have some kind of spiteful retribution against exile everything bullshit. Speaking of exile everything bullshit, I admit it's slightly hypocritical that I just complain so much, yet I have this card in the deck. Well, everybody has to attack every turn with Angel's Trumpet. Some people are going to be attacking with nasty shit I don't want to deal with, like Slivers or Eldrazi. So this will deal with that nasty shit permanently. Blasphemous Act. Another reason for the Mark of Asylum. 13 damage each creature. If I have Mark of Asylum in play, my creatures can't take non-combat damage. Hordeling Outburst. I just wanted some way of generating Goblin tokens quicker. The Goblin Lieutenant, when the Goblin Lieutenant finally comes out in Modern Horizons 3, he will probably replace this. I'll see. Speaking of tokens, so another way of generating tokens, increasing devotion. 5, I get 5/5/1/1 white human creature, not soldiers, just humans. I get 5/1/1 dudes running around, and if I flash it back, I get 10/1/1 white dudes running around. It's kind of like a Dave Matthews concert. A bunch of white dudes running around. Yep. Oh, I'm done. That's it. That's the last card.